Let's get you out live now to Washington, D.C. This morning, President-elect Joe Biden is already getting to work on his first challenges. The president-elect plans to unveil a series of executive orders on day one in office to reverse many of President Trump's policies. He's also making fighting the pandemic one of his top priorities as cases continue to surge nationwide. Meanwhile, a local doctor on the front lines has some ideas for what Biden needs to focus on. Janelle Fort has more.
Hey, Steph, the president-elect is announcing the medical experts and scientists who will make up his coronavirus team. It's his first major decision since becoming the projected winner of last week's election. Right now, the U.S. is seeing a critical spike in COVID-19 cases. Friday, the nation hit a record of 126,400 cases in a single day. And according to Johns Hopkins coronavirus tracker, Texas is poised to be the first state to top 1 million cases. Medical experts say tackling the coronavirus must be the top priority for the incoming administration. Biden ran much of his campaign attacking President Trump's handling of the virus. The president-elect says the plan he's working on includes increased investments in personal protective equipment and loans for small businesses, as well as a plan to standardize the public health guidelines nationwide. Biden has also said he plans to have the U.S. rejoin the World Health Organization. We got a glimpse of some of the members of Biden's 12-person coronavirus advisory board. One of them has Texas ties. Dr. Robert Rodriguez is a Bronzeville native. When his hometown was hit hard by the pandemic, he returned home to volunteer at an ICU. Biden won't be sworn in until January 20th, but in the meantime, he says that they're creating the blueprint so that they can take action on the COVID-19 pandemic as soon as he's sworn in. Back to you.
Janelle, thank you. President-elect Biden used his first speech to discuss the importance of uniting the nation, but he's already up against legal challenges from President Trump. Senior White House officials say the president will concede when all legal options are exhausted and when the final numbers reflect a Biden win. Yesterday, the Trump campaign held a rally in Las Vegas claiming issues with Nevada ballots, and the campaign's already filed suits in Pennsylvania, Nevada, Georgia, and Michigan, mostly to stop vote counting or disqualify hundreds of thousands of votes.
This campaign has not laid our eyes on a ballot signature, an envelope signature, and a voter roll signature on a single one.
Donald Trump can say whatever he wants, but we just had an election that was secure.
So far, President Trump has offered no evidence of his claims of voter fraud. Back to the coronavirus now. We are tracking some big new developments in the race to a vaccine. Here are three things to know about today. Number one, Pfizer says early data suggests that its vaccine is 90% effective at preventing COVID-19. That puts it on track for review in the U.S. later this month. Number two, AstraZeneca says its COVID-19 vaccine could show up as early as January. The company is currently working with the University of Oxford to develop the vaccine. Right now, the vaccine is in late-stage trials in several countries, including here in the U.S. And number three, the leader of Operation Warp Speed says that the U.S. is stockpiling 6 different vaccines undergoing trials now. He also says the vaccine doses will be ready to ship as soon as just one day after the FDA approves the drugs. Meanwhile, another negative milestone for the virus here in the U.S. That's one of the day's other big stories. The U.S. surpassed 10 million coronavirus cases yesterday. The 7-day average of new cases now tops 100,000 per day. The new wave is hitting the Midwest and the Pacific Northwest especially hard, with new curfews and mandates now in place in parts of Colorado, Oregon, and Utah.